Section 1 of An Isle in the Water. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. An Isle in the Water by Katharine Tynan Hinkson. The First Wife. The dead woman had lain 6 years in her grave, and the new wife had reigned 5 of them in her stead. Her triumph over her dead rival was well nigh complete. She had nearly ousted her memory from her husband's heart. She had given him an heir for his name and estate, and, lest the bonny boy should fail, there was a little brother creeping on the nursery floor, and another child stirring beneath her heart. The twisted yew before the door, which was heavily buttressed because the legend ran that when it died the family should die out with it, had taken another lease of life, and sent out one spring green shoots on boughs long barren. The old servants had well nigh forgotten the pale mistress who reigned 1 short year, and in the fishing village the lavish benefactions of the reigning lady had quite extinguished the memory of the tender voice and gentle words of the woman whose place she filled. A new era of prosperity had come to the island, and the race that long had ruled it. Under a high stately window of the ruined abbey was the dead wife's grave. In the year of his bereavement, before the beautiful brilliant cousin of his dead Alison came and seized on his life, the widower had spent days and nights of stony despair standing by her grave. She had died to give him an heir to his name, and her sacrifice had been vain, for the boy came into the world dead and lay on her breast in the coffin. Now for years he had not visited the place. The last wreaths of his mourning for her had been washed into earth and dust long ago, and the grave was neglected. The fisherwives whispered that a despairing widower is soonest comforted, and in that haunted island of ghosts and omens there were those who said that they had met the dead woman gliding at night along the quay under the abbey walls, with the shape of a child gathered within her shadowy arms. People avoided the quay at night, therefore, and no tale of the ghost ever came to the ears of Alison's husband. His new wife held him indeed in close keeping. In the first days of his remarriage, the servants in the house had whispered that there had been ill blood over the man between the 2 women, so strenuously did the second wife labour to uproot any trace of the first. The cradle that had been prepared for the young heir was flung to a fisher girl expecting her base-born baby. The small garments into which Alison had sewn her tears with the stitches went the same road. There were many an honest wife might have had the things, but that would not have pleased the grim humour of the second wife towards the woman she had supplanted. Everything that had been Alison's was destroyed or hidden away. Her rooms were changed out of all memory of her. There was nothing in the house to recall to her widower her gentleness or her face as he had last seen it, snow-pale and pure between the long ashen-fair strands of her hair. He never came upon anything that could give him a tender stab with the thoughts of her. And so she was forgotten, and the man was happy with his children and his beautiful, passionate wife, and the constant tenderness with which she surrounded every hour of his life. Little by little she had won over all who had cause to love the dead woman, all human creatures, that is to say. A dog was more faithful, and had resisted her. Alison's dog was a terrier, old, shaggy, and blear-eyed. He had been young with his dead mistress, and had seemed to grow old when she died. He had fretted incessantly during that year of her husband's widowhood, whimpering and moaning about the house like a distraught creature, and following the man in a heavy melancholy when he made his pilgrimages to the grave. He continued those pilgrimages after the man had forgotten, but the heavy iron gate of the abbey clanged in his face, and since he could not reach the grave, his visits grew fewer and fewer, but he had not forgotten. The new mistress had put out all her fascinations to win the dog too, for it seemed that while any living creature clung to the dead woman's memory, her triumph was not complete. But the dog, amenable to every one else, was savage to her. All her soft overtures were received with snarling, and an uncovering of the strong white teeth that was dangerous. The woman was not without a heart, except for the dead, and the misery of the dog moved her. His restlessness, his whining, the channels that tears had worn under his faithful eyes. She would have liked to take him up into her arms and comfort him, but once, when her pity moved her to attempt it, the dog ran at her ravening. The husband cried out, "Has he hurt you, my love?" and was for stringing him up, but some compunction stirred in her, and she saved him from the rope, though she made no more attempts to conciliate him. After that, the dog disappeared from the warm living rooms where he had been used to stretch on the rug before the leaping wood fires. It was a cold and stormy autumn, with many shipwrecks, and mourning in the village for drowned husbands and sons, whose little fishing boats had been sucked.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?